I'm a priestess girl in a blighted world. Ender Lilies is an action-adventure, Souls-like platformer with a dash of Metroidvania. Wait, did they spell Lilies wrong? Nope, apparently not, because Lily is short for Lillian, a name that has 2 L's in it, but it only needs 1 if abbreviated. English is fun, isn't it? You play a little priestess girl who has the help of a powerful spirit called the Umbral Knight. You set out to purify the Blight and restore order to a fallen kingdom. Story. Everything is horrible. A blight has fallen across the land. Kingdoms have fallen into chaos, and everyone is dead, a corrupted zombie, or a monster. You are a neglected princess, and all your friends are vengeful spirits. It's time to purify this horrible world. I don't want to go too far into the story. Souls-like games are about discovering the story, so it's better to let people who actually play the game experience the story. Plus, unlike those who make movies today, I like to keep information from the audience so that they can be surprised and not have everything over-explained and spoon-fed to them. What I will say is that the story is a blend of dark fantasy and even sci-fi, which shows up a bit suddenly in the third act. Pieces of the story are told through cutscenes at the end of boss fights, and through items you find throughout the game map. This allows you to put together the story from what you find and see, typical of Souls games. The first Knight Spirit you acquire provides extra information as well as insight throughout the game. There are mini-bosses, and when defeated, they provide context as to who this person was before turning into a corrupted, raging monster. Then, there is text that appears on screen when walking to or through a new area. It's usually your friendly Knight Spirit providing exposition. There are many spirits that you recruit, but after their initial cutscene, they don't really speak at all. Perhaps more time in the oven might have resulted in more from the spirits. After defeating a boss, the various cutscenes have looped animation, like hair swaying in the wind, and have a high contrast, black and yellow aesthetic. They are nice animations that have a real weight to them. If you don't like cutscenes, most cutscenes can be skipped. If you're into the story, you can re-watch the cutscenes as much as you want in your various menus and go through the different notes you find throughout the game. Gameplay and progression. This game is pretty easy to understand and simple to execute. They give you the use of the D-pad or analog stick for movement. I know that's a small thing for some people, but the D-pad is just easier for some of us older retro players and is a lot more precise, especially in a game that rewards precision.
I'm a child and I like to skip. I don't walk normally because I'm a child.
You have the traditional Souls-like dodge roll, which is kind of cute actually. You can jump and double jump. Later, you get other abilities like a grapple, air dash, and wall climb. There is a handy map that uses red dots to show unexplored exits, and also turns the rooms from blue to yellow when all the items in a room are found. This is great for you completionists out there. I would have liked some indicators of more specific items, but the lack of map complexity aids in the mystery of exploration. Simple, but effective. I can say that for the game mechanics as well. Instead of bonfires, you have various respite points where you can sit down, whether it's a bench, chair, bed, or large mushroom. Resting at a respite point refills your healing prayer uses. Fast travel is also unlocked from the beginning, so you can travel to other respite points as needed. When resting at a respite point, you can save, watch old cutscenes, and collected story items like letters and such, manage your collected spirits and enhance them, and equip your various passive relics. Relics are found in large treasure chests, and you can also find items that increase the number of relic slots you can equip. Each relic can take up to 1 to 4 slots depending on its abilities. Some give you more max HP, others give you more defense, more healing prayers, or even the ability to parry strikes. The parry relic can be equipped at no cost. You can equip various spirits. Your Umbral Knight is the default one and does basic attack combos. You get spirits when defeating mini-bosses and bosses. You can equip 2 spirits in addition to your Umbral Knight, and you have 2 sets to equip them to, so 4 in total. I had one set that was more long-range spirits and one that was more shorter range for bosses. You can also organize them by air and ground enemies, or however you like. You upgrade your collected spirits with Blight you find in the world. Stagnant Blight for non-boss spirits, and Furious Blight for boss spirits. See, they're not souls, they're spirits. Totally original. Each main area has a boss that when defeated gives you an ability that allows you to get to a new area. You know, the Metroidvania stuff. After the obligatory first teaching area, you can choose which of the 2 early accessible areas you would like. One is a village, the other is an underground water and plant-filled area. The game seems to adjust difficulty based on who you fight first. There seems to be some sequence breaks you can do and some areas you can skip. One time I skipped past the sewer stage and came back later, over-leveled. Lastly, you can level up, just check the big number in the upper left. If you happen to die, you were just returned to the last respite point with no consequences. You don't have to get your body back like the other Souls games. You get to keep your experience, so dying makes sure that you'll come back stronger. The level cap is 100, but the game is pretty generous with experience, so I never felt the need to grind or stop my journey to level up. I ended up beating the game around level 90. Ender Lilies is a game that rewards exploration and a keen eye. A lot of spirit enhancement blight is hidden in the corners of maps, and secret switches and routes are everywhere. I often found that if I got stuck, it was mostly due to not noticing a breakable wall or switch hiding in plain sight or surrounded by enemies. Look carefully and be rewarded. Graphics and art design. The graphics are sprite-based in the Vanillaware style. It looks great, and unlike other games in this style where it appears that you can see where they piece together each character, this game has elevated the style and made it almost seamless. I am reminded a lot of Castlevania, with some of the stages having candles adorning the levels and all of the gothic castles. A lot of people would compare this game to Hollow Knight, but I think it's more along the lines of Momodora and a lot of other Dojin games like Crescent Pale Mist and Komajo Densetsu 2. To me, this game is just a new step in the evolution of Japanese indie games, small games made by passionate people. Some of the castle stages look a bit samey, but each area has a different style and gimmick. The 2.5D backgrounds really add depth and atmosphere to the various locations. I love this sewer stage, and while most of it is dark and dreary, there are parts of it where the sunlight comes in and makes the plants grow. It is striking and wonderful. The Witch's Coven area looks cool with the water spouts and fish tank backgrounds. I also like the red field of flowers boss room and the castle covered in goop with a bit of light coming through. There are some pretty immersive and pretty areas, and then there's the villages and castles. They're just, how does one put it?
It's too gray. I don't know if it's dawn or dusk. Why does the sun bother to come out? Gray, rainy gray, snow gray, horrible gray. And then you wake up on Valentine's Day. And it's so gray out, you actually look at your wrist and think, hey, maybe I should slit them to see color.
Other than that, the game runs great. It doesn't drop frames and doesn't crash. There could be more color in the game, but it's a very sad game about loss and corruption, so I can let that fly a little bit. Overall, there is not much to complain about in the graphics or art. Music and sound. The sound and music are generally pretty good. Lots of slashy sounds, clanking armor, blood splatter, light pattering of walking on stone, and gushy water walking sounds. The dodge roll splat that sounds like a wet bag hitting the ground. All pretty standard stuff. All sounds are muffled when underwater, and there is a satisfying water bloop sound. The most satisfying sound is the bloody gash of a dying boss. I like that when you take damage, the game doesn't make a big deal about it. In Hollow Knight, they do that stupid audio muffling thing when you get hit. In this game, there is a bump, and upon death, there's a shattering of crystal, and that's it. The girl also doesn't make any jumping sounds. She's just silent. She doesn't scream when she gets struck by an attack or any of that. It's actually really refreshing to not hear those annoying sounds. Plus, when you die, it'll be mostly you making the biggest sound. Not again! No! You got hit by the same attack again? I can't believe— Stupid! Ah, son of a— As for the music, it's pretty. It's pleasant to listen to, it's not overbearing, and immerses you in the game, having nice melodies, and it oozes with atmospheric style. But it has what I call the melancholy piano. It's a very piano-heavy score, which for the most part is okay because it's a smaller game with only one major composer and a small amount of instruments. But do you have to use piano for everything? The only time it really bothered me was in the catacombs. There are skulls everywhere. Where's the creepy theme that reminds me of death? This isn't a time to be melancholic, it's a time to feel dread and pain. When the action in a film or video game is intense, but the music is not, it's called playing against the action. Japanese games seem to do this all the time. It's like you can't state the obvious or the music won't be good. It's okay to amp up the music a little and just play the action. Everything doesn't have to be so artsy fartsy. I do appreciate art though, and there are some creative moments like an area later in the game that when you enter, the Umbral Knight says, "It's hard to breathe in here because of the Blight." And then in the background music, you can hear the sound of someone struggling to breathe. Some of the musical themes, like the Witch's Coven, have a dance-like style that really gives me Castlevania vibes. And there are some really disturbing sounds in the obligatory body horror level. There is a village theme with a soft child's voice singing a lovely melody. The innocence and purity of the song contrasts with the decimated village. The one really good aspect of all this piano is that it avoids all the current cliches with film scores. The blah sound and the da 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 da. That whole Hans Zimmer rock band playing through an orchestra crap devoid of any melodic content, I will take the melancholy piano over that crap any day. This is a well-made and beautiful OST that accompanies the game eloquently. I just wish that I could listen to it and not feel like taking a nap while crying into my pillow afterwards. Combat. Slash dodge, slash dodge. The combat is solid. The girl is basically defense, and the Umbral Knight and other spirits are your offense. This is a game that rewards precision and patience. Every attack your spirits make, every dodge roll or dash has a slight delay on it. Normally I would complain about this and also the lack of animation canceling on your attacks, but in a Souls-like game, this is an on-purpose design and adds to the challenge. If you are looking for that satisfying pattern memorization of a Souls game and enjoy a little bit of thinking, then this is your stop. Every enemy has a stamina bar beneath their health. Some of your spirits can drain this faster, and sometimes your sword is the better choice for a quick death. Enemies have this slight reddish-orange flash that indicates that an attack is coming. It does give you a bit of an edge, but you still have to memorize the timing and not get too overconfident. If you are the kind of gamer that mashes the attack button like mad and then gets angry because you die too much, this game is not for you. Attacking without thought is one of the best ways to die first. They established that by giving many of the enemies priority over you. I'd like to take a few minutes to praise the game's iframes. I never got mad that my dodge should have had more invulnerability. In fact, they want you to dodge through enemies to attack from behind and through objects like these underwater mines. There are some really crazy things that you can dodge in this game, so if you are getting destroyed by, let's say, this giant creature, then try learning the evasion timing. It's fun and worth doing. If you don't feel like dodging all the time, you get a ring that enables parries. Parrying at the right time will deplete an enemy's stamina bar, allowing you some extra hits. This works for most bosses, and unlike the dodge, you can parry during any animation. I know some of you will have fun with this. You also get a small meter in the corner, and hitting enemies with just about anything will increase it. It goes up pretty fast too. Press up and any spirit ability and you will do a special attack. Plus, you are invincible when using it. I never thought this game was unfair. I enjoyed most of it. But there are a few things that prospective combatants should really know before going in. First of all, the bosses have 3 parts to them, forcing you to adjust your tactics throughout the fight. You only get up to 5 healing prayers in the game, and that's only if you use relic slots to enhance them later. The default is 3. The enemies in this game are a bit tankier than the typical Souls game, so be ready for that. You can make your life easier by finding specific souls to upgrade your Umbral Knight. The first pair of these items is in the catacombs, so save yourself some pain and explore a bit to find them. There are a lot of different spirits, and not always enough upgrade Blight, so test them out a little before you upgrade. Each spirit has different attacks when you are in the air versus on the ground, so there are a lot of possibilities. It was really nice to enjoy a combat system that wasn't overly complicated and full of bugs and other things. It's nice when games are tested and things are ironed out so that the experience is enhanced. I really didn't find too much to complain about here, but speak of the devil, it's the complaint section. The enemies are really tanky. A slime crawling around on the ground shouldn't take 5 hits. The game also has tanky flying enemies. That should be illegal. Also, the amount of HP enemies have varies between enemies, even in the same area. Make sure you have a projectile attack because you'll want to use it with some of the tanky flying enemies later in the game, especially these giant fish. There are some really wonky enemy placements. Yep, just put that wizard right in the middle of that platform. There were times when I had to take damage to get past an annoying enemy during a platforming section. You auto-grab ledges, which can get you in trouble when trying to drop through a vertical passage. Luckily, you can make holding the down button cancel out the auto climb, but you have to enable it in the menus. They also like to stack enemies a lot. There are really sparsely filled areas, and the next area is just screw it, put all of them in there. Sometimes the combination of particle effects and the nature of the character designs will make it hard to tell if you're attacking from the back or the front, usually when dealing with the knights. You take a lot of damage in this game. You also take a lot of damage plus knockback when colliding with an opponent's hitbox, which gets really annoying because of the slight delay in all of your attacks and dodges. You may dodge an attack, but you'll be far too close to the enemy's hitbox, or you won't be able to get clear because it's a big monster attacking faster than you can dodge. This happens more than I'd like to admit. After letting loose with a powered up spirit ability, you don't really have any lingering iframes when the move finishes, so get ready to dodge immediately. Archers and other projectile throwers attack a bit more frequently than I like. Play long enough and this will annoy you. Most of the game is fair, but there's definitely some BS here. To end this video, I'm going to talk briefly about the 3 endings. The other endings are basically achieved if you get to the end without exploring all of the areas. To get the best ending, you have to find 7 tablets and go to an area at the beginning of the game to make an item. Most tablets are found behind doors that you can only unlock when you reach the final level, so they're easy to find. However, the final one requires you to do this. It's not as bad as it looks. In conclusion, this game is great, and I got it for about $18 on a Steam sale. It's about 10 to 15 hours and full of challenges. The Metroidvania stuff doesn't really fully kick in until a few hours into the game, but there is a lot to see and explore throughout. It's challenging and rewarding as it should be. If you like challenging games similar to Hollow Knight, Blasphemous, Salt and Sanctuary, you should definitely play this. In fact, you probably have. As I'm recording this, it's still about 1 month away until Elden Ring. So if you're jonesing for some souls, definitely check this one out. I give this game an above average 4.5 super tanky projectile spitting flying fish out of 5. Thanks for watching and supporting my YouTube game reviews. I want to make more videos like this, so if you want to see them and more in a timely manner, please hit that like and subscribe button and you'll be my best friend in a sad, melancholy world. This is Dan T from Twisted Banana Productions, signing off. Time for a nap.